Okay, so with this cartoon, we have another problem there too. Now, again, in a graphic novel format, these little spikes here tell you who said what. So they're, in a sense, they're functioning as signal phrases. These little bubbles, though, are a new thing. Those indicate that someone's thinking these lines. So, in other words, the words aren't uttered out loud. We would consider it like quoted speech if we were writing by hand, but since we write with word processors, we need to do it a little differently. So, and the other thing that I wanted to look at here is that there is a quotation inside of this line that Penny says. This is Penny, by the way. Again, June and Ralph. So if these were the Daddy, what's a nanosecond? It's 1 billionth of a second, Penny. Thanks, Mom. And then Ralph Drabble says it's also the length of time it takes my wife to answer a question directed to me, and he thinks that. So if I were to put it into prose, then these are the lines that were used. Now we have to add quotation. So if I may add a signal phrase, Penny asked, and then quotation, whoops, in quotation marks. Now the problem is that I have two double quotation. So when there's a quotation inside of a quotation, we're going to remove them and turn them into single quotes, which is basically the apostrophe. It's a single quote, so that indicates the quotation within a quotation. So again, I don't like how many exclamation points there are here, so I'm going to remove this one. Let's make this a quotation, and let's make this a comma, and then say that the mother, blurted. Her name was June, so June blurted. It's 1 billionth of a second, Penny. June blurted. Thanks, Mom. Again, I don't know why we need all these exclamation points. So thanks, Mom, replied Penny. And here now, Ralph Drabble thinks this to himself. I may have called him Norman, though Norman is his son, anyway, that we saw in the previous comic strip. So, you think to yourself, so you can say the to yourself is kind of redundant. You just think it. So let me just say that Ralph thought. It's also the length of time it takes me to answer a question directed at my wife to answer a question directed to me. So, that seems more like a sigh than an exclamation. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a period as well. Removed all of them. But now these are thoughts. They're not spoken out loud. And since we have a computer, we're going to actually remove these quotation marks that I just added. And the whole line that is the quotation will now be in italics. So that's how we would deal with that cartoon.